The digital age, a breeding ground for the strange and sensational. Millions tune in, seeking that adrenaline rush, that primal fear triggered by the unknown. And who better to guide them through these digital haunted houses than someone like me? They call me Wraith. Ironic, isn't it? A name whispered in the digital ether, synonymous with horror. My viewers crave authenticity. The rawer, the better. So when the opportunity to explore Blackwood Asylum presented itself, I couldn't resist. Little did I know, Blackwood had other plans. This was going to be real. The camera flickered to life, the red live indicator a stark contrast to the grainy black and white feed. Yo, what's up, my digital ghouls? It's your boy Wraith coming at you live from Blackwood Asylum. The chat exploded. Thousands of viewers, their comments scrolling by faster than I could read. Alright, let's do this. I adjusted my headlamp, the beam cutting through the oppressive darkness. The asylum's dilapidated entrance loomed before me, its rusted iron gates groaning like tortured souls. I was here to capture the raw, unfiltered essence of fear. With a metallic clang that echoed through the night, the gates slammed shut behind me. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of decay and something else. Something cold, something ancient. The asylum's main building loomed before me, a gothic monstrosity silhouetted against the pale moonlight. This place had seen things, terrible things. I could feel it in my bones. "This is it, guys," I muttered, my voice echoing strangely in the stillness. "Time to get to work." The beam of my headlamp danced across the peeling paint and crumbling walls as I ventured deeper into the asylum. Each step echoed through the cavernous halls, the sound bouncing off the cold, unforgiving surfaces. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the sound of my own breathing and the frantic pounding of my heart. "Man, this place is something else," I whispered, my voice raspy. But deep down a primal fear began to gnaw at the edges of my composure. Surrounded by the ghosts of the past and the suffocating darkness, I could feel Blackwood's icy grip tightening around me. My shadow, elongated and distorted by the headlamp, danced across the cracked tile floor. Each step sent a hollow echo bouncing down the seemingly endless corridor. The air grew thick with the smell of dust, decay, and something faintly metallic, like old blood. "You guys hearing that?" I muttered, my voice barely a whisper. The chat blew up with a mix of excitement and fear. I pushed open a door, its hinges groaning in protest. The room beyond was a tableau of neglect, a former patient's cell frozen in time. A sudden gust of cold air slammed the door shut behind me, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the silence. "This place is seriously messed up," I muttered, my voice echoing strangely in the confined space. I turned to leave, but something in the chat caught my eye. Multiple viewers were freaking out, highlighting something behind me in the live feed. "What? What is it?" I asked, my voice tight with apprehension. I could see it now, a fleeting shadow flitting across the wall at the edge of the camera's view. Terror, raw and primal, washed over me. With a surge of adrenaline, I finally broke free of whatever had held me captive. I spun around, my headlamp cutting through the darkness, but there was nothing there. Just the empty cell, the shadows playing tricks on my terrified mind. I raced back down the corridor, my footsteps echoing in the silence. But when I reached the main entrance, my heart sank. The iron gates, once open, were now firmly shut, wrapped in heavy chains and secured with a rusty padlock. Panic clawed at my throat, threatening to overwhelm me. I was trapped, a rat in a cage with something dark and hungry lurking in the shadows. A wave of icy cold washed over me, cutting through my clothes, chilling me to the bone. My breath formed thick clouds in the air, the temperature plummeting despite the stifling atmosphere I'd felt only moments before. This was more than just the natural chill of the old building. This felt different, unnatural. The chat was on fire, viewers reporting a sudden drop in temperature in their own homes. The air crackled with an unseen energy, and the metallic scent I had noticed earlier intensified, tinged now with something sickly sweet. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through the haze of disbelief. Blackwood was alive. A blood-curdling scream, filled with unimaginable pain and terror, ripped through the silence, echoing off the asylum walls. "What the hell was that?" I shouted, my voice hoarse with terror. The camera shook in my trembling hands, the beam of my headlamp dancing wildly across the walls, catching glimpses of flickering shadows that vanished as quickly as they appeared. The chat erupted, a cacophony of fear and speculation. The scream faded into a chilling silence, leaving behind a ringing in my ears and a cold dread that settled deep in my gut. I was no longer a skeptic. Blackwood was every bit as haunted as the legends claimed. My headlamp illuminated a discarded medical chart lying forgotten on the floor. I picked it up, brushing away the dust and cobwebs. The paper was brittle, yellowed with age. The ink faded but still legible. It was the profile of a patient, a young woman named Eleanor Vance. According to the doctor's notes, Eleanor suffered from delusions, hallucinations, and violent outbursts. As I read through the chilling details of Eleanor's descent into madness, the screams returned, echoing through the asylum with renewed intensity. I dropped the chart, my stomach churning. Panic swelled, threatening to consume me. I raced down corridors, the whispers and Eleanor's screams echoing around me. Each doorway led to another dead end, another grim reminder of the asylum's gruesome past. The chat was a whirlwind of suggestions, prayers, and frantic pleas for me to find a way out. I had become their entertainment, a rat caught in a terrifying maze for their viewing pleasure. Desperation clawed at my sanity, each failed attempt fueling the growing terror that threatened to overwhelm me. My frantic search led me to a room unlike the others. The walls weren't just dilapidated, they were covered in frantic scratch marks, deep gouges in the plaster that spoke of unimaginable suffering. Strange symbols, crudely drawn and unsettling in their simplicity, adorned the space between the gashes. The air grew heavy, the metallic tang of blood almost overpowering. One by one, the symbols on the wall began to glow, emanating a faint ethereal light that pulsed in sync with the humming sound. I was no longer just a prisoner in Blackwood. I was a witness to something ancient, something dark and terrifying beyond human comprehension. The hum reached a fever pitch, the air shimmering with energy. A figure began to coalesce, a grotesque parody of human form. Its eyes, two burning embers of pure malice, locked onto mine. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. The figure crawled forth from the wall, its movements jerky and unnatural. The stench of decay clung to the back of my throat. I squeezed my eyes shut, but the image seared onto my eyelids. The screams returned, a chorus of the damned rising. The air crackled one final time before abruptly ceasing. Silence, heavy and absolute, descended upon the room. I dared to open my eyes. The room was empty. The symbols on the wall were dark, the creature gone. Only the lingering scent of decay and the echo of the screams remained. I was alone once more, but something within me had changed. Blackwood had given me a glimpse behind the veil. Some horrors are all too real. The silence after the apparition vanished was deafening. My heart pounded against my ribs. The air felt lighter, the pressure easing slightly. Had it all been a hallucination? A cruel trick of the mind? A glimmer of hope sparked in the darkness. The chat exploded with terror and relief. They had seen it too. I wasn't going mad. Their concern fueled my will to survive. I had to find a way out of Blackwood. I couldn't let this be the end. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to move. There had to be another way out. I pushed open a door, my heart pounding. The hallway beyond was dark, but a faint light flickered at the far end. A way out? Or another one of Blackwood's cruel illusions? The flickering light grew stronger as I approached, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. The hallway was narrow, the air thick with dust and the feeling of something watching me. Each step felt heavy, as if an unseen force was trying to drag me back into the darkness. The chat was a flurry of speculation. Was it an exit, another prisoner, or something far more sinister? Their fear, palpable through the screen, fueled my own. I gripped the camera tighter, my knuckles white, my breath catching in my throat. As I rounded the final corner, my heart sank. The light revealed not an exit, but a barred window, set high in the wall, far out of reach. The flickering glow emanated from a single lantern, hanging precariously from a rusty hook, casting long, dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and contort like living things. Frustration and despair washed over me. Blackwood was toying with me, offering a glimmer of hope, only to snatch it away. I slammed my fist against the wall, the pain a welcome distraction from the fear that threatened to consume me. Turning to leave, I noticed it. A shadow, darker than the surrounding darkness, stretched out behind me, elongated and misshapen. It hadn't been there before. Blackwood wasn't finished with me yet. The game was far from over. The shadow moved, shifting and pulsing like a living thing. It stretched towards me, long tendril-like fingers reaching out from its indistinct form. A low growl, guttural and filled with malice, emanated from the darkness, sending shivers down my spine. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice trembling despite my best efforts to control it. The shadow didn't answer, but the growling intensified, the sound vibrating through the air, through me. Whispers, faint and indistinct, carried on the edge of my senses. They seemed to come from the shadows themselves, whispering secrets, weaving tales of madness and despair. The whispers grew louder, swirling around me, a chorus of tormented souls vying for my attention. They seeped into my mind, weaving tales of unimaginable suffering. Each word was a nail hammered into the coffin of my sanity. I saw them then, flickering in and out of view at the edge of my headlamp's beam. The ghosts of Blackwood. A gaunt woman in a tattered hospital gown, her wrists scarred and bloody. A hulking orderly, his eyes burning with a malevolent light. A rusty bone saw clutched in his hand. A young boy no older than 10, his face twisted in a silent scream. They were everywhere, their forms shifting, their whispers a constant torment. They reached for me, their cold, ethereal fingers brushing against my skin. I could feel their despair, their rage, their desperate need for me to see them. The chat was in meltdown. Viewers described the ghostly figures in horrifying detail. Some begged me to run, others urged me to help the spirits find peace. But I was powerless, a puppet caught in Blackwood's macabre play. I stumbled back, my foot catching on something on the floor. I looked down and saw a rusty metal tray, stained with what looked like dried blood. On it lay a scalpel, its blade gleaming under my headlamp. A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I understood. Blackwood wasn't just showing me its horrors, it was inviting me to participate. The scalpel hummed with a faint unseen energy, beckoning me, tempting me. I could feel the weight of Blackwood pressing down on me, urging me to pick it up, to finish what had been started all those years ago. The whispers intensified, a chorus of voices urging me to give in to the darkness. "No," I muttered, my voice hoarse and unfamiliar, "I won't be a part of this." But even as I spoke the words, I felt my resolve crumbling. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, the ghosts of Blackwood seeping into my mind, their pain becoming my own. My fingers, as if guided by an unseen force, closed around the scalpel's cold, smooth handle. The metal felt strangely alive in my grip, its energy pulsing in sync with the frantic beating of my heart. I could feel the darkness closing in, smothering the last vestiges of my sanity. The camera shook violently, the image on the screen distorted and fragmented. The chat, a cacophony of screams and pleas, faded into a distant hum. I was no longer aware of them, of the outside world, of anything but the overwhelming darkness that threatened to consume me. Blackwood had won, and I, the fearless wraith, had become another one of its victims. The live feed from Blackwood Asylum descended into a chaotic mess of static and distorted audio. Wraith's confident banter dissolved into incoherent mumbles and chilling laughter. His viewers watched in horrified silence. The chat became a torrent of panicked questions and pleas. Then, the feed cut out. The screen went black, leaving Wraith's final manic grin. Silence reigned, broken by frantic clicking of keyboards. The digital void held, where Wraith's laughter once was. In the aftermath of the abruptly ended live stream, a single frame, captured in the final seconds of the feed, began to circulate online. It showed Wraith's face, contorted in a mask of pure terror, his eyes wide with an unholy light, his mouth frozen in a silent scream. The scalpel held loosely in his trembling hand reflected his image back at the viewer, its blade marred by a single drop of blood. This image, imbued with the raw, unfiltered horror of Wraith's final moments, became a morbid artifact, a digital ghost that haunted the darkest corners of the internet. Those who had witnessed the live stream firsthand shared their stories, their words a mixture of shock, disbelief, and a lingering sense of unease that clung to them like a shroud. Theories abounded, ranging from the plausible to the utterly bizarre. Some speculated that Wraith had staged the entire thing, a publicity stunt gone too far. Others, convinced that Blackwood had claimed another victim, shared chilling tales of the asylum's gruesome history, their words fueling the growing legend of the place. But amidst the speculation and fear, one thing remained clear. Wraith's disappearance served as a stark reminder of the fine line that separates the thrill of the unknown from the truly terrifying reality that some doors are not meant to be opened, some darkness best left undisturbed. The Blackwood Asylum, silent and imposing, stood as a testament to the horrors it had witnessed. The investigation into Wraith's disappearance yielded no answers. The equipment he carried was never recovered, the footage from his camera vanished into the digital ether. The asylum, already shrouded in an air of mystery and dread, became a no-go zone, a place where whispers of the past mingled with the chilling silence of the present. Wraith's fate remained a mystery, a chilling story whispered in hushed tones in the online communities he once captivated. Did he stage his disappearance, seeking to escape the digital persona he had created? Or had he become another victim of Blackwood's insidious grasp, his sanity and his very essence consumed by the darkness that resided within its walls? The questions lingered, unanswered, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows of our world, both real and virtual. The screen, once alive with Wraith's bravado and the terrifying spectacle of Blackwood, remained dark, a stark reminder that some stories have no resolution, some horrors linger long after the final frame fades to black.